Happy Friday. It is finally Friday. We made it through another week, Flex Zone family and beyond. It's yours truly, God's favorite host. Here today is Good to Be Alive Friday, January 16th, 2026. A special divisional round Friday afternoon happy hour live stream. We are opening the Flex Zone Forbidden Door to an illustrious guest. I'm a huge fan of his work. He's finally here. We've been talking for a minute. We finally made time. He's finally gracious enough today to join us. I know he's busy. His team is on a run that he's excited for. And I know he's excited and elated to share that energy with you all, Flex Zone family. If you don't know, you do know. He's the one and only Kieq on the mic. He's joining us today here on the Flex Zone podcast. But before I bring him up, he comes with his own theme music. He comes with his own theme. Shout out to K Hooks. Shout out to Kieq on the mic. They got a great song I want you guys to listen to. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're on X, coming over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate Kieq again. We're going to get to this song and we're going to bring him up, talk some good Bears content, and hopefully bring him some good luck this weekend as they try to make a run to the Super Bowl. Let's listen to the music and we'll get Kieq right up. We'll do that.
Hey, yo, Ma, you to the bed?
Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. NFC North, we the hardest in our section. When you hear that bear down, you better get the stepping. Light it up with us, you gon' think we using his sticks. Feel like Jalen Johnson take this beat for a pick six. Cali the shot town is Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Kieq on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes. Matt Forte, Walter Payton. They sweat me like I'm Tez, cause I'm all pro in the making. So tell me why they hating. We about to take over, they gon' feel what I'm saying. We really back and we ripped off the script. Feeling like Hester when I pop off these kicks. They just mad they ain't pop off like this. We are the Bears and you know what it is. Oh yeah, Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up.
Let's get ready to bear down. Let's bring the man up, the one and only Kieq on the mic, joining us here on the Flex Zone podcast. Put your hands together. Kieq, what's good, my guy?
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Awesome stuff. I appreciate you playing the song. It definitely always gets me pumped up. It's funny because that song was made, for all the Bears fans out there. We never really had an anthem. We have the Bear Down Chicago Bears song, but we need something with more groove, right? Get fans pumped up. And we only play it really after wins, right? And we made it last year, and the Bears went 5-12, and we didn't get to play it a lot. And I was like, man, did we waste the song? But this year, been really, really exciting. Got a lot of plays, and Bears fans are definitely loving it. But definitely excited to finally get on. We've been talking for months and months and months, and finally made it work. So definitely an awesome time to come on.
Pleasure's all mine, man. Like I said, huge fan of the work. Love everything you do, man. You're out in Cali, so.
Yes.
Talk to the people who don't know who Kieq on the mic is. I like to let people tell their story of who you are, how you kind of got to be who you are, and doing the amazing work that you do in real life and on YouTube.
Yeah. So, I've always been into sports radio. I actually was an intern for a local radio station out here in Sacramento, California. And that's when I really fell in love with the idea of podcasting and radio. So about 5 years ago, I started a podcast called Kieq on the Mic, but it was about anything and everything. Wasn't even really talking about the Chicago Bears, about politics, sports, everything. And finally, I sat there. I was like, I'm really passionate about the Chicago Bears. I talk to my dad every day, my brother-in-law, anybody I can talk to about football, Bears, anything. I'm talking to you for a couple hours, right? So let me start a podcast about the Bears, and that's when I rebranded myself to Kieq on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears, and we've been doing it for about 5-6 years now. Have really grown a great community, and now we are here, right? And it's amazing. It's all about the community, not only with the Bears fans, but for other content creators like you as well. So I make a living kind of going on different live streams and podcasts, and just really getting to know the sports community, because at the end of the day, that's how you grow.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Becoming a Bears fan, how
Yeah.
did that kind of sprout up to what it is today? We know the historic franchise, some of the greats behind you, Devin Hester, Gale Sayers, Walter Payton. I
Yeah.
mean, Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs. We can go on and on. I love the Matt Forte shout out in the song. How'd you become a Bears fan?
Yeah, so my great grandparents were both born and raised in Chicago. So as a kid, they would tell me cool stories about how they got to go to the game for 25 cents, and just the history of the Chicago Bears. My dad also grew up a Bears fan. Got to watch the 1985 Bears, Walter Payton, all that good stuff. And that's actually the reason why my show is called Kieq on the Mic. My great grandparents gave me the nickname Kieq. It's actually just an abbreviation of my full name. So it's really, this podcast is really just paying homage to them, and then just my fanhood growing up and kind of doing my own research and falling in love with the team. And like I said, it's really easy for me to do a podcast of something that I truly love.
All right, let's talk about the Bears. Let's
Yeah.
let's start low. Let's start with the bad times, because I
Yeah.
know over the past decade or so,
Uh-huh.
it has not been the brightest of times. What
No.
can you say has been kind of the root cause of why this historic franchise kind of hit the lows that they hit throughout the past few years?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you bring that up, because I know my dad and I will talk about constantly, or any really true Bears fan. We always felt that we were cursed ever since we fired Lovie Smith. There was a year where Lovie Smith literally went 10-7 or 10-6, and he got fired that same year, right? And ever since that moment, it seemed like the Chicago Bears were cursed time and time again, not only picking the wrong quarterback or picking the right coach. It just never worked, or we would finally have a good offense and defense wouldn't work out, or vice versa. So it was really low points for many, many, many years. And we seemed like we finally cracked that code this year with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. But it's been a long time coming, right? And I give Bears fans a lot of props and respect. They call us probably the most loyal people on planet Earth, because we have dealt with the lowest of lows. And I think, Bears fans now should be able to relish in the moment for their team, hopefully making a run all the way to the Super Bowl.
I was going to ask about that Super Bowl run. The last time was the Rex Grossman day.
Yeah, 2006. Yes.
What is it about this team? And I guess you kind of talked about the culture with Ben Johnson, the it guy. But a lot of times it doesn't always, you follow sports, you follow coaching. It doesn't always work out the way we expect. But this brother has brought everything and more to Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's just about the belief that these guys have in Ben Johnson. Not only Ben Johnson, but the coaching staff. I like to pinpoint a couple of guys. Eric Bieniemy, he's the running backs coach, but he has Super Bowl coaching experience with the Kansas City Chiefs as an offensive coordinator, right? So you're bringing in not only coaches, but you're bringing in veteran leadership, like guys like Grady Jarrett. He made a run with the Atlanta Falcons. You think about Kevin Byard, he has playoff experience. Joe Tooney, he's the ultimate winner. He won Super Bowls with the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're bringing in people in the organization that are allowing these young guys to buy in. And now at this stage, when you are among the Elite Eight trying to fight your way to the NFC Championship game, right? There's just a bunch of guys that have belief in Ben Johnson. You can see it on the field.
What's the beef? Because I want your perspective as a Bears fan, Bears Packers. We know the oldest rivalry, one of the greatest rivalries in sports. I'm glad you guys got that shine on national TV last week. Well deserved. What is the beef with LaFleur, Johnson, and there's the cachet of Ben Johnson and just the swag?
Yeah, I don't think there's any personal beef. I think it's just Ben Johnson bringing the rivalry back, and that's how it should be. Bears fans are not supposed to like Packers fans, and Packers fans are not supposed to like Bears fans, right? And for years and years and years, even with Matt Eberflus, I think there was a picture out there of Eberflus and Matt LaFleur going to a basketball game together. And that should not happen. We do not like them. I'm really excited about the fact that, Ben Johnson came out and said what he said, not only in his opening press conference, but going into the locker room saying, F the Packers, F this, right? And then doubling down on it a couple of days later in his press conference. We absolutely love it here in Chicago. And once again, the Green Bay Packers fan base had their fun as well, right? You think about the Bears still suck. There's actually a Bears still suck song out there that Green Bay Packers fans like to play. And then, and you, of course, you think about Aaron Rodgers time and time again coming to Soldier Field and dominating the Bears and looking at the fans and saying, hey, I own you. I still effing own you, right? So I think it's just the fact that it's our turn now. And now Ben Johnson is reigniting the rivalry. And I love it.
Definitely got to love it. Your quarterback, Caleb Williams. I'm familiar with him. He grew up not too far from where I'm at. Heard about him since he was in middle school. You know,
Right.
people who've coached him and been around his brother. I was singing his praises. You know, maybe a little bit outlandish in certain things he does off the field, but when that brother can play like that, I don't give a damn what he does off the field.
Yeah.
And he's becoming a leader too. I see the maturity in him.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. I know that just looking at last game, for example, you know, people were seeing Caleb Williams get frustrated and yelling on the sideline like, oh, why is Caleb Williams pouting? That is not pouting. That is leadership, right? That is something that the Bears have been missing for years and years and years. And we finally have a quarterback that cares, that shows that emotion. You even go back to his USC days when he lost one of those big games. He goes into the stands and you know, cries in his mom's arms. I actually love that. I love the emotion. I love that he cares that much. And you see that when he gets frustrated and when he lets that emotion pour, that's when the brother really starts balling, right? And you know, there's just little examples. And of course, he still has a long way to go, and rightfully so. It's only year one with Ben Johnson, right? And the fact that he's able to make those type of plays, 4th and 8, rolling out to his left, right? And feet are not even on the ground, able to throw a dot to Roma Dunze with the game and the season on the line. Those are the moments that Bears fans have been dreaming for a long time. And we can finally sit here and say that, hey, we finally have a franchise quarterback in Caleb.
Man, I think he has the best arm in the league. I said it last week, and he looks fantastic. Ryan Poles, I gotta ask you about him. I mean, we love to see the brother succeed. You know, he was getting a lot of heat. I didn't think he would still have a job this year, Kieq. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
He kept his job, and boy, did he hit it out the park with this draft.
Yeah.
You look at the pieces, Loveland. I mean, going to get him a young guy in the 7th round. You get DeAndre Swift in free agency, rebuilding that offensive line last offseason. I mean, so many good pieces that they bought in. DJ Moore, a Turk, you know, the pieces they bought in, like you said, the veterans on defense as well, and even getting Montez Sweat last year from trade deadline.
Yeah, you know, it's a love-hate relationship with Ryan Poles, right? Especially last year. But after this draft where you're able to land on Colston Loveland, which he looks like a mini Travis Kelce out there, right? And he just can do anything, right? I like to call Colston Loveland, he's a tight end in a receiver's body, or a receiver in a tight end's body, right? So big time player, making big time plays in the biggest moments for the Chicago Bears as a rookie. You think about last year, you get Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze in the same draft. And then I think the big thing here is we were able to get Luther Burden, a 1st-round talent in round 2. He's an absolute dog. And then Kyle Monangai, getting a guy like that in the 7th round is absolutely remarkable. And I think it's going to set the Chicago Bears up for future success as well. And Ryan Poles really needs to thank Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson wanted to work with Ryan Poles. I know there was a little report prior to Ben Johnson coming to Chicago that he wouldn't want to work with Ryan Poles, but they have a great working relationship, and they have really put a high trajectory on this roster moving forward.
You talked a little bit about the defense. It's not necessarily the monsters of the midway, but they're the monsters of the takeaway. You know what I mean by that, Kieq.
Yes.
I mean, Dennis Allen didn't really work out in New Orleans, but he's a really good coordinator.
Yeah.
The defense that he's put in, getting the pieces. And how about C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of nowhere?
Yeah. CJ Gardner, and it's crazy. CJ Gardner-Johnson's been a really, really good fit, especially getting Kyler Gordon back. You can use him in many different ways. I like to call like CJ and Kyler like Swiss Army knives, right? And it's funny that, you know, people, you know, we talk about how bad the Bears defense is in terms of numbers, but you think about they lead the league in takeaways, but you also have to think that this is year 1 and Dennis Allen is still working with guys that are from the Matt Eberflus era. These are Matt Eberflus's guys. So I continue to think that once we continue to build the defense with guys that really fit Dennis Allen's scheme, this defense will continue to get better. I also want to give a huge shout out to Al Harris, defensive backs coach, because he has been a true catalyst in really building the secondary and allowing us to lead the league in takeaways.
Looking at the special teams unit too, because we talk about all 3 phases. No, not Devin Hester, but Devin Duvernay. He used to play for the Ravens. We're familiar with him. He's bought some stability, had some decent returns this year too. I think he's been under unsung hero too.
Yeah, he's heating up, especially at the end of the season. Of course, he had a big return against the Minnesota Vikings to allow us to get one of those comeback wins this year. But especially in the comeback win last week in the wild card round against the Green Bay Packers, had a couple of big returns. And without those returns, the Bears wouldn't be able to make that comeback. And once again, we talk about veteran leadership. He's also bringing that veteran leadership within the special teams unit. Like I said, it's been kind of an up and down year for Devin Duvernay, but he's showing up when it matters the most. And that's what I appreciate about him.
Do you feel like this division is the best division in football? And I know a lot of people try to make that claim about their division, but the NFC North, just those cities, those people who represent those cities, and looking at the teams, the personalities, the coaches, I mean, it's got to be the best division in football. And how do you feel about this division moving forward? Because you guys are feeling like the big dogs.
Yeah, and that is a scary thing, right? We were the ones hunting the Lions and Packers and Vikings for years, and now we are going to be the hunted, right? And granted, even though the Chicago Bears are one game away from an NFC Championship game, there's still a lot of people out there that feel that the Chicago Bears they shouldn't be in the position they're in. They still believe that the Chicago Bears are frauds, and I think about the 7-game winning drives and knowing how, learning how to win. Now the Chicago Bears know how to win football games. But to answer your question, yes, I think we are tied with the NFC West for one of the toughest divisions in football. I want to give a shout out to the 49ers and the Seahawks and the Rams, literally 3 NFC West teams. And then the Bears are in the final 4 of the NFC. That's a true testament of being one of the toughest divisions. But I think moving forward for the NFC North, it's going to be, I think they call it the black and blue division, right? I know the Lions are going to come back with vengeance. I know the Green Bay Packers are going to come back with vengeance. And then, really outside of, I think, J.J. McCarthy, the Minnesota Vikings also have a very good football team as well. J.J. McCarthy can come back even better and, limit the injuries. That's also going to be a very good football team next year.
I agree with you. What do you think? And I got to ask you this because you would know probably better than me. What the hell is going on with this stadium situation? They're not moving them Bears out of Chicago, right? That's malarkey. That's what people would say.
No, I think it's a true thing.
Okay,
I think
okay.
so. Last week, when Roger Goodell came and watched the Packers-Bears game, he actually took a visit to, I think it was Northwest Indiana, to look at a possible site. And the state of Indiana is pushing hard for the Chicago Bears. I believe it would be right on the state line of like Indiana and Chicago. So I think they would still be able to be called the Chicago Bears, but Indiana is pushing hard for it. But it did wake up the Illinois government, and they are kind of waking up a little bit because they don't want to lose the Chicago Bears, especially at this point, right? The Bears are finally good. It looks like they're going to hopefully have sustained success over the next couple of years. So it would be a major loss for that city and that state.
I asked you about this weather this weekend before we get into this game. I'm hearing, winds in the 15 to 20 mile per hour, precipitation possible. I mean, this plays into your hand. Got to be an advantage for the Bears, right?
Yeah, I would think so. And, I'm from California, and my first Bears game was in December of 2016. And I remember going, they were saying, hey, it's going to be one of the coldest games in history. My dad and I land at Chicago O'Hare, and the taxi driver said, hey, please stay inside. You're from California. You guys are not ready for this weather. And we're like, oh, we're tough California, man. Hey, shut up. Leave us alone. We're going to go outside. We go outside, and I'm telling you, it felt like we got hit by a bus. If you are not used to that weather, if you're not acclimated to that weather, it's going to be a tough environment. And once again, Matthew Stafford is probably one of the toughest quarterbacks I've ever seen in NFL history, at least in my lifetime watching him play. But it's going to be a tough environment, not just because of the weather, but Bears fans now have belief in their team, and that is a dangerous thing also.
All right, you got the Rams coming into Soldier Field. A lot of people's picks before the season and during the season to make it to the Super Bowl at the NFC. How do you look at this matchup, and what do you think is going to be some of the keys that you're looking at when you do look at this game on Sunday night?
Yeah, I want to first and foremost give a lot of respect to the Los Angeles Rams. They are one of the best teams in NFL and in the NFC, led by Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. I also look at their defensive line, very, very good defensive line. Their secondary has definitely kind of been struggling as of late, but overall as a team, I can see why people feel that they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl, and then experience does matter, right? Sean McVay, Super Bowl champion, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champion, and of course, you got guys on the outside like Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams that can make your life a living hell, right? So for me personally, we talked about the weather, and this is really one of my big keys going in. And granted, yes, the weather can make an impact, right? But it's only going to make an impact if the Chicago Bears can really establish the run. Over the last couple of weeks, it seems like the running game has really taken a back seat. And the reason why that is because the Bears are playing from behind most of the time, right? Last week against the Green Bay Packers, only averaged 3.3 yards per carry. And it was just really off balance. It was 48 throwing attempts for Caleb Williams compared to only 22 rushing attempts for Kyle Monungai and DeAndre Swift combined. So the Chicago Bears need to find a way to really run the football, dominate the time of possession, and keep those LA boys, Matthew Stafford and all those guys, high-powered offense on the sideline. And I think that's when the weather will make a true impact if you're able to dominate the time of possession.
Do you forecast, because I feel like the winner of this game is going to the Super Bowl. Do you feel like if the Bears can find a way to grind out this game, we know it's still one game left, which could potentially, depending on how it plays out, be at Soldier Field. Yeah. Do you feel like they have what it takes to make it to Super Bowl 60?
Yeah, I think I told you at the beginning of the show that the Bears have this aura about them and this belief in Ben Johnson that no one can get in their way. I think Ben Johnson mentioned prior to the Packers game that they are mentally and physically prepared to play 4 or 5 more weeks. And it's like Ben Johnson's the first coach in a long time that I truly believe what he says. When he says something, it always comes to life. I do believe that the Chicago Bears need to find a way to start faster in this game. I do feel like if we get down 21-3 like we did against the Green Bay Packers, it's going to be a lot tougher to come back against the Matthew Stafford and a high-powered Los Angeles Rams offense. But I also feel that if it is close in the fourth quarter, the Chicago Bears have proved time and time again that they can come back and be resilient, noting the 7-game winning drives by Caleb Williams and the Bears. But I do feel that if the Chicago Bears can grind this one out, especially if they get that extra motivation of the San Francisco 49ers possibly beating the Seahawks and knowing going into that matchup against the Rams that if they beat the Rams, they can have a home game. I think that's all the momentum that they're going to need to get to the NFC Championship game.
I want to ask you about those come from behind wins, because is there a specific reason why? We know they believe, we know they have the talent, but a lot of teams, teams like we've seen give up a lot of leads. The Packers last week, yeah. How are they able to muster up that come from behind? They say cardiac bears?
Yeah, cardiac bears, Mr. Iceman's what we call Caleb Williams. Once again, it's just belief, right? It's belief in each other. The moment's never too big for Caleb Williams. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get all back in one sitting, right? It takes a collective unit, right? The defense does their job. Just like last week, down 21-3, the Chicago Bears defense forced 3 and outs on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers when they got diced up the whole first half, right? So, and then the offense continues to do their job. And I think once Caleb Williams gets into the fourth quarter, he puts on that Superman cape and it's proven that, he is that guy. And it's actually funny. I brought up some stats on my show just yesterday that the Chicago Bears are first in every single category. Yards, points, obviously game-winning drives, all that stuff in the fourth quarter. The Chicago Bears are the best team in the league. And that's why a lot of people are saying going into this game that it is close in the fourth quarter. And once again, Matthew Stafford and the Rams have also shown the ability to come back as well. They did it last week against the Carolina Panthers. But with the fact that the Bears are at home, it's going to be cold. They're going to have the home fan base. If it is close in the fourth quarter, my money is that the Chicago Bears will win this football game.
Quick rapid fire questions before I get you out of here. Is Matthew Stafford your MVP this year, or are you rolling with Drake May?
Ooh, that is tough. I would probably give it to Matthew Stafford. And I think the only reason why I'm giving it to Matthew Stafford is because I look at the strength of schedule for the Patriots. And once again, I know it's probably sounds kind of hypocritical of me because I know the Bears, that's the mantra of them, like they didn't play anyone. But when you look at that division, and I believe the Patriots are in the NFC East, you get to play the Jets and the Dolphins, probably one of the weaker divisions in football. And it's not Drake May's fault, right? He's still a baller, but I just would give it to Matthew Stafford at this point.
All right, quick picks. 49ers travel to Seattle after, tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night? Who you got winning that in the NFC side?
I think it's going to be a great game. I just think Seattle's defense is a little bit too much, and the 49ers are just a little bit too banged up. Of course, we just talked about, the benefit of the Bears, right? If the Niners win, it gives momentum, and we possibly have a, home NFC Championship game if we can handle our business. But I just think that Seattle defense is a little bit too much.
All right. On the AFC side, the Bills travel to the Broncos. How you feel about this whole Josh Allen thing? Does he have to get to the Super Bowl this year with no Lamar, no Burrow, no Mahomes? Okay.
Yes, if he doesn't do it this year, I don't think he'll ever do it.
Okay.
This is a prime opportunity for him. But I'm actually going to take the Denver Broncos. I have a lot of belief in Bo Nix. I have a lot of belief in that defense. They're going to be at home too. They're going to be rowdy, and this is the team they lost to last year in the wild card round, so they want their get back as well. I'm going to take Denver in a very close game.
All right. Defensive struggle. First team to 10 wins. That's my philosophy. Houston and New England.
Once again, we're talking about defense. This is going to be the toughest defense that really Drake May has seen all year. But I do actually believe Drake May more than I believe in CJ Stroud. And I think the New England Patriots won a very close one as well.
All right. Who plays in Super Bowl 60, Kieq? Let's get you on record.
Right now, if I had to guess, I'm going to go with Denver. My hunch is Denver Bears.
Okay. I love to see that. That would be pretty dope. That would be pretty dope. And you know I'd be rooting for the Bears. So,
I appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Rooting for the Bears, man. Let them know how to keep up with you, Kieq. What you're cooking up, what you're going to be doing for this game on Sunday, and any content you got coming out this weekend and moving forward, and how to keep up with you moving forward throughout the years. You do content all year round.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Kieq on the Mic, a Chicago Bears podcast. I'm also on X as well. And I'm also on a couple of audio platforms as well, like Apple Music, Spotify. Don't really keep on that stuff a lot, but I am going to start keeping up on that stuff as well. If you want to listen to me in the car, that's awesome as well. I do live streams, play-by-play content every single week. If you're not able to catch the live streams, I do post really cool reaction videos after the game as well that people seem to enjoy. But then going into the offseason, a lot more live streams, content 5 to 7 days a week, talking Chicago Bears football. Maybe I can even have you on my show eventually. That would be really awesome to talk some football. But yeah, I'm always around. But like I said, I appreciate you guys so much.
Hey, everybody, go to that link right there. It's pinned, his YouTube channel. Check it out. I promise you won't regret it. Kieq on the Mic. Great content. Kieq, we're going to do this again, brother. I appreciate you again, man. And hopefully, like I said, I can come on your channel anytime. One more time, how can I keep up with your brother? And any final words for the beautiful people this weekend?
Yeah, you can follow me once again on Kieq on the Mic, Chicago Bears podcast, all social media platforms, all audio sites as well. I always believe, right? I think at the end of the day, as long as you stay loyal to your fan base, I think it feels better when they finally win, right? So really excited for the opportunity the Chicago Bears have. And once again, I want to let everyone know out there, this is the worst you're ever going to see Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Think about that.
We're thinking about that. We're thinking about you, Kieq. Keep up the great work, brother, and we'll do this again real soon. Go Bears, man. Bear down.
Yeah, bear down. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. One more time. Kieq on the Mic, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the beautiful California. Kieq, appreciate it, brother. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you, man.
My man, Kieq on the Mic. Thanks again. One more time for Kieq on the Mic. Big shout out one more time to Kieq. Kieq on the Mic joining me here today on a special Friday afternoon live stream happy hour edition of the Flex Zone podcast. Make sure if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. Best way to support what we do here. Best way to get us out to the algorithm. Let other people know what type of content that we do here. As you can see, we cover it all. NFL, got you covered front, back, side to side, and all around. NBA, MLB, and of course, pro wrestling, which will be live tonight, Friday night. SmackDown, which is being taped right now. They are overseas, but we'll be live tonight on the YouTube, 8 p.m. We'll have content all weekend. We'll have content on Sunday night after the division round is set, getting you ready for the conference championships. Our normal weekly watch along, Raw, NXT, AEW, SmackDown. We were live last night for the debut of TNA on AMC. We're doing our live reaction to that. That was fun. Ravens, Commanders, everything in between the flagship podcast on Mondays. One more time, check out Kieq on the Mic. Subscribe, bear down. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you want X. Come on over to YouTube. Subscribe. Vote on the poll. Let us know who wins, Bears or Rams. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate you watching. Mark, I see you in the chat. Raj, appreciate you, Miss Queen. Much love. Appreciate you. Everybody in the chat. Thanks for watching this after the fact. Leave a comment. Appreciate Kieq. One more time, go head over to his channel. Kieq on the Mic. He'll be live this weekend. Bears, Rams. And I got you covered as well tonight with SmackDown as we head into the Royal Rumble in a few weeks. Let us know how you're feeling. We'll be live Sunday night, recapping all the divisional matchups and getting you ready for the AFC and NFC championship games this coming week after the divisional round. Ravens need a new coach. John Harbaugh's with the Giants. I did a video on that this week. So plenty of content to get lost into. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Thank you all for watching. I'm getting out of here, y'all. See you later for SmackDown. Peace. Have a good day, everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday and your weekend is off to a fantastic start. Like I said, we'll be live for SmackDown tonight, and throughout the weekend, we'll have content, NFL, and maybe even some Warriors content as well, because they need to stop dragging their feet and go get that starting pitcher that can help solidify their offseason and help Mike Elias have this team back in contention. I'm getting out of here. Thank you for watching. Peace, y'all.